Hi, Ryan from A&B here. We've come out to Stromlo on a nice crisp winter's morning with the 2022 Specialized Turbo Levo Expert. This is the third generation of the Turbo Levo. It does look quite similar with its asymmetrical sidearm, but a lot has changed with this bike. There's revised suspension kinematics, better standover, a little bit different geometry, and also sporting the new 2.2 motor. One of the nicest new features is the MasterMind TCU, which goes to a color display which displays a lot more information. It's also got nice new offerings from Fox. So the three models of the Turbo Levo that are available now, we've got the Expert model here, which is $15,900. The Pro model is $19,800 and the S-Works model is $23,700. The Expert model represents extremely good value. It does come with Exo Eagle, Fox's Performance Elite, sturdy alloy traverse wheels, and the same battery, motor and frame that you would see on the Pro and the S-Works models. All three models of the Turbo Levo come with a 700 watt-hour battery. It's at a peak of 565 watts and 90 Newton meters. We found that this battery is more than adequate for large days of riding. We've consistently been able to get around 2,000 meters of climbing out of a single charge, which is absolutely fantastic. So the MasterMind TCU is one of the biggest changes to the motor and how it operates. It has a couple of really nice features, such as live consumption, so you can see how you're delivering power and how the battery is going to be affected by the way you're using your e-bike. Another upgrade with the 2.2 motor is the way it charges and the charge port. There is like a locked sort of trapdoor over a gasketed plug now, so a much more robust system and something that should keep moisture out for those people who wash their bikes frequently or ride in wet weather. So what's changed over the Gen 2 with the geometry? We've got the S4 on test here, which is effectively a size large. The wheelbase has grown by 20 mil, and part of that's been achieved by a 22 mil longer reach and also a slightly slacker head angle. So the predecessor was about 66-degree head angle. This one has actually taken some really nice technology from the Stumpy Evo and has a adjustable head angle bearing cup, and it can be adjusted between 63 and 65.5 degrees. The 477 mil reach is really comfortable. This one's spec'd with a nice short stem. You can see I've got the seat not too far forward on the rails, and I feel really comfortable. I feel centered on the bike. It's extremely well balanced. It still retains the 160 mils up front and 150 mils of travel out back. The seat tube angle is claimed 76.2 degrees. However, that's the virtual angle. The actual angle is 72. One of the biggest changes that we've seen with the Gen 3, it's now a mullet. So 27.5 on the rear and a 29 up front. That does enable Specialized to make the back end quite a bit shorter over its predecessor, a full 13 millimeters, which is huge when you're talking about e-bikes. So it brings it from 455 millimeters back to 442. So this bike is a lot more nimble, agile, and does change direction a lot quicker than its predecessor. Moving on to the components of the 2021 Turbo Levo, it has been spec'd with the Fox X2, the Performance Elite, and also the Performance Elite 38 up front. The Expert model is equipped with SRAM's Exo Eagle, a 12-speed with a 520% range. Specialized have also got their new T9 compound on their front tyre and a T7 on the back. What that means is the T9 Butcher is much softer compound than before. The old Butcher was quite hard and didn't really like dry conditions, whereas this T9 compound is much softer and finds grip on drier and slipperier terrain, which is really nice to see. We also see a reduction in crank length from 165 mils down to 160 mil cranks on all models, which, to be honest, until I read it, I didn't even notice. The only thing I did really notice on the trail is I clip my pedals less, so it's a big plus. I think it does match really nicely for e-bikes. You don't need as much leverage, so the 160 mil crank works really nicely. So how does the Gen 3 handle on the trail? The first thing, the mullet setup for an e-bike is fantastic. The additional weight of the motor and the battery and the need for longer chainstays really means that the mullet rear wheel corrects those sorts of idiosyncrasies that an e-bike can have and makes it perform more like a normal analog bike. It is much more maneuverable, changes direction better. The geometry changes to the new Levo have changed the way this bike handles. The slightly slacker head angle means it's much more confidence inspiring and means that your weight is more central on the bike. The longer chainstay previously and the steeper head angle really sort of pitched you forward when you were descending or riding through techie stuff, and I think now it's a lot more balanced. It's a joy to go through a rocky section and it doesn't want to dive and push you over the front. So a big tick for handling there. The revised suspension kinematics make the bike jump a lot nicer as well. It does ramp up towards the bottom, so hitting lips really wants to sort of push in nicely, and then landing heavily as well. It handles that a lot better. Part of that is the X2, but the kinematics and the way the suspension works does make a big difference. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.